Hello, it's Veronica and Naomi. So we're doing our spoiler review for Wicked for Good. Yeah, we saw the movie it's opening Friday with our doll mommy, and we felt like it was very good. And Elphaba and Glinda are here with us, of course, even if we don't have any of their Wicked for Good dolls yet. We have Elphaba and Glinda dolls, so they're here too, and they're hanging out with us. So anyway, the movie starts off with the people of Oz singing about Elphaba being being really wicked and stuff. And it shows Elphaba like hanging around some people who are working on the building of the Yellow Brick Road. And then having to retreat into the forest and stuff where she has been living for all the years since the first movie. And she's working on a bunch of underground stuff to help the animals and give them their freedom. So yeah, she's doing a lot of animal rights stuff. She's hiding out in nature. And the first moments just show how terrible her life is. And then it straight up cuts to Glinda and her life in Emerald City, where she's a public figure. She's keeping up people's morale. And she has to play this part and be this person that people want to see. And something that's very cool where it shows is a part where it shows young Glinda in a flashback scene at a birthday party with a bunch of her friends. And she gets something she wants more than anything in the world. A magic wand. Like a kid-sized one as a kid. And well, all of her friends are asking her to do magic and stuff and perform and all that. So she tries to, but nothing's coming out of the wand. And then a rainbow happens whenever she's outside, and people think, oh, she did that. But her mom notices that Glinda didn't produce any magic. So her mom straight up tells her that about how popularity and social influence can be it's her magic pretty much. And this cuts back into the current timeline where where Madame Morrible is gifting Glinda her bubble chariot that she flies around in the sky with. And she's showing her the mechanism for it that activates the bubble, and how it's all just more of the wizard's technology doing this rather than actual magic. And she's talking to Glinda about how she needs to keep the people, keep up the spirits of the people of Oz, how much they admire her and look up to her and stuff like that. And how and she even gives her the wand and tells her it sells the idea of her doing magic. And this goes into the thank goodness and couldn't be happier song. So during this song, Glinda is acting everything is perfect, everything is happy, everything's really, really positive. Then Fiyero mentioned something about how like he wants to find Elphaba, which like Madame Morrible then like changes the topic to Glinda and Fiyero getting married, which obviously the people of Oz get very excited about and everything. And Glinda like pulls Fiyero aside, and she's like, "Why did you say that? We're supposed to be saying other stuff and all that." And he like straight up asks her, like, if she even cares about Elphaba, which she does, and she gets emotional over this. And during the last part of this song, you can tell like she's kind of holding back tears because like Fiyero like made her think of Elphaba again. And while like outwardly to the people of Oz, she's like singing like this is the happiest moment of her whole life. This part really made us think of something we've noticed with a lot of like major influencers, especially. Being an influencer and being a public figure honestly isn't all that much different at times. And we love how it shows Glinda masking her emotions and against her will, even just to please the people of Oz and boost positive morale and stuff. It's really cool to see that. It's a very nice take on the topic. And then later on, Glinda, Elphaba goes to visit her sister, Nessarose, who is the governor of Munchkinland. She has a bunch of really strict rules in place. And well, she's still in love with Boq, but Boq isn't necessarily in love with her. And like she's starting to notice this, and she doesn't want Boq to leave her side. She straight up issues a whole law against Munchkins leaving Munchkinland, just to keep Boq with her, pretty much. So Elphaba visits her and stuff. And like Nessarose is like wondering like where she was, why she wasn't around for their father's death and all that. And in an effort to help Nessarose, you have the famous scene where Elphaba enchants her shoes and they turn red and stuff. And in the original play, this gave Nessarose the ability to walk. But in this, it just shows her flying in the air a bit and then like going back into her chair afterward. And Boq sees this, and he's like, and then he mentions how like, oh, he has to go to like Glinda's like wedding because he thinks he saw the chance with her or something, which makes Nessarose mad, and she straight up takes the Grimoire and tries to like put a spell on Boq's heart to make him love her. But this massively backfires because she's like mispronouncing the words and stuff. And she like shrinks his heart, nearly killing him. So then Elphaba steps in and does a spell to counter this so that Boq would survive, that he would be okay, and she turns him into the Tin Man. And like Nessa Rose is outside the door, and she just hears Bach's voice. She's happy he's okay. And then he like comes out of the door after like after destroying it with his axe, and well, he blames her for the whole like Tin Man situation, which she gets very upset over and stuff. And yeah, that's kind of where like it leaves like Nessa Rose's arc for a bit. Like Bach getting mad at her and leaving her, and him getting turned into the Tin Man. Which, if you saw the original musical, this shouldn't be a surprise. And then Elphaba goes to visit Glinda before the whole like wedding and stuff. And they have a nice little talk and stuff. They like catch up and all that. And then like Elpha explains that she's like going to like take down the wizard and stuff. And like so Elphaba goes to see the wizard, but like Glinda is there too, and well, Glinda like sides with the wizard. She like tries to convince her and the wizard try to convince Elphaba to like work with them, that like they could help her achieve her goals, that the people of Oz would like love and respect her and stuff. That like everything could be forgiven, and then like Elphaba is all like, no, I'm not doing that. And the song Wonderful also has like some melodies from other songs from the first part, just to kind of invoke that sense of nostalgia with like Elphaba and Glinda and their past friendship and all that. And just really show how much like Elphaba cares for Glinda and how much she wishes things could be the way they were. And then like the wizard like surprises like Elphaba by like giving her a key so she could free the flying monkeys and stuff. So she frees the flying monkeys. And then like in that escape, a portrait of the wizard is moved, which reveals a hidden room. Which Elphaba goes into this hidden room. It's full of caged animals who were once able to talk, including Dr. Dillamond, and she's upset about this. And like she realizes, yeah, the wizard hasn't changed. And meanwhile, outside of the wizard's like room and stuff, Glinda is walking down the aisle in a full-on wedding dress, preparing to be married to Fiyero. And a lot of people in Oz are just celebrating this and all that. And then this little part where like Elphaba is like having a confrontation with the wizard regarding the caged animals, while Glinda is just getting married. And then like unfortunately for Glinda, Fiyero like doesn't show up whenever she goes to like find where he is and stuff. He is confronting the wizard with Elphaba and all that. And then he decides to break up with her right on the spot. which she obviously isn't okay with. Yeah, Glinda gets very upset at Fiyero breaking up with her. Pretty much. So, like, after this, like, Glinda, like, suggests to Madame Morrible that, like, they could use, like, the idea that, like, Nessarose is in danger to try to lure Elphaba out. Because of Elphaba being a whole, like, enemy of the people and stuff. And then Madame Morrible takes this way too far by, like, causing a tornado. And if you know The Wizard of Oz, you know what tornado this is. Yeah, it's the one that brings Dorothy to Oz. And you know who that tornado kills, right? The Wicked Witch of the East, aka Elphaba's sister, aka Nessarose. Yeah, so Madame Morrible straight up summons that tornado. That, like, summons Nessarose to Oz. That summons Dorothy to Oz and kills Nessarose. And then there's the whole part where after, like, sending Dorothy off on the yellow brick road with the like last slip with the silver slippers, Elphaba is mad at Glinda. Like, she's angry with her. So she finds her in Munchkinland, just standing there after, like, sending Dorothy on her way. She like asks where the shoes are and stuff. And then, like, and she, like, tries to, and then, like, Glinda says something like, well, I'm a public figure now, and people look up to me and all that. So, like, Elphaba straight up slaps Glinda across the face. And they obviously have their little, like, fight where they, like, start off by them, like, slapping each other. If you've seen the original musical, this is done with them, like, trying to fight each other with their, like, with the broom and the wand, like, as a sword or something. So, like, some of the, like, guards, like, have to go and separate them and stuff. And as, like, Elphaba is, like, trapped and stuff, Fiyero shows up. And he, like helps her get away. And Glinda's obviously still upset over the whole canceled marriage thing. And he straight up even threatens Glinda because she tried to hurt Elphaba. So then Glinda, like, sends the guards after Fiyero for, like, threatening her. And it's like, and yeah. So Elphaba goes to her lair. She's obviously upset about, like, what happened with, like, everything just recently. And this is where the introduction of the song No Good Deed comes in. Yeah, so No Good Deed is basically Elphaba's fill-in song. And she sings this and does a whole spell, like, making it so that, like, Fiyero cannot die and all that. But unbeknownst to her at the time, this spell is turning Fiyero into the Scarecrow, which explains yet another origin of an iconic Wizard of Oz character. And Fiyero also, like, lets Elphaba hide out in one of his family's old castles. So, like, Elphaba's hiding out in this castle and stuff, while, like, Dorothy and, like, the crew are, like, in the Cowardly Lion, that the Tin Man and Scarecrow are being, like, sent after her. Like, I'm sure we all know how the wizard, like, asked, like, Dorothy to, like, bring the room of the Wicked Witch of the West and stuff. We all know how this part kind of goes. Yeah, and also, like, both the, like, Cowardly Lion and the Tin Man, like, speak out against Elphaba during this, too. So they're, like, hunting her down and stuff. But before they find her, like, Glinda shows up at the castle, and they, like, sing for good after, like, talking for a bit and just figuring things out, realizing things. And how, like, Glinda realizes that, like, she needs to change. She needs to do what's right, as Elphaba gives her the Grimoire and all that. And she's, like, hiding in, like, a closet in, like, the castle during the whole part where, like, Dorothy throws the bucket of water on Elphaba. And she's obviously very upset because Elphaba's her friend. And, well, yeah, who wouldn't be upset about that? Then it shows Glinda going back to the Emerald City, reinforcing change by, like, making the wizard leave the Emerald City, and by, like, also confronting Madame Morrible, and then, like, putting on the, like, dress and the crown like it's a power move. And meanwhile, back at the castle, Fiyero, as the Scarecrow, finds Elphaba underneath a trapdoor, and they leave Oz together. And they agree to, out of respect, not let Glinda know that they are still alive. And then the movie just, like, ends with, like, Glinda talking to the people of Oz and setting things right. So yeah, that's the spoiler review. We hope that you like it, mysterious audience.